Hey everybody, welcome back to Electric Cafe. Today's video is on electronic. So around obviously around 89, 90, the electronic form, which is basically Bernard Sumner, the lead singer from New Order, and Johnny Marr, the guitar player from the Smiths. So obviously Morrissey went solo around 88. So right after Strange Ways, Here We Come by the Smiths. In 87, so Morrissey went solo in 88. And, that was right around the time that I think Johnny Marr played a couple songs on the album. The Beaten Generation is the one that comes to mind. But the album Mind Bomb. So, Johnny Marr obviously looking for people to collaborate on. He's kind of, I don't know Johnny Marr's solo career that much. I know the last like 10, 15 years, he's been putting out albums and playing live and doing an amazing job. It's nice to see him kind of step out and be that vocal, singer now and be that complete musician. Maybe he just was shy. I don't know, but I don't know when that kind of came to a head when he started wanting to sing more. But I mean, he has to be one of the all-time best rhythm guitar players of our generation. I mean, just his creativity and the songs and the riffs, guitar riffs he's made over the years are just iconic. Especially for new wave and alternative music is just amazing. So it looks like he was, looking for some other people to play with and play behind. So obviously, there was a connection there with New Order, and right away, Getting Away With It came out, and what an amazing song that is. I mean, just an amazing song. And then to have Neil Tennant from Pet Shop Boys sing on the background was just like a powerhouse of collaboration there. And Dudley doing the strings as well on here. I also have the vinyl version, but it's on the wall. I have it framed. This is an iconic song for me. This is the original. I only ever had two cases that did this, and it was two important ones because these cases came out in like 89, 90, and it was this one and they Enjoy the Silence, and it's almost like a plastic sleeve. Hopefully I don't break it because it's such a bad sleeve, but it's unique for the time. And so basically it's like a sleeve like that, right? So it's kind of open, and then it's kind of held in there with like two prongs, and so you just pull it out, and then you just set it in there, and it kind of holds it. But not a great CD cover. Try it. Obviously, when they went to the Digipack shortly after, was much more ergonomic, and they kind of went away from the spindles, which was great because a lot of these CD cases in the 80s, they weren't too great, and this was not a great trial. I only saw. I want to say Madonna used this on Vogue. There was maybe a couple singles in '90 that had this kind of sleeve. It was kind of unique for the time, but I haven't seen it since. But just an amazing song. The remixes are very tied to the new song. Tied to the original. Just you have an extended version and a vocal remix. And the nude mix is probably the best one on here for me. Although the extended version is just more of the same great stuff. Lucky Bag is a very underrated B-side on here. For those that like New Order's Best in March, the remix, the B-side of Round and Round, check out Lucky Bag if you don't know it. And the great thing about this one is you get the Miami edit and you get the original version. And both are both are great versions. But what a way to kick it off with this great song. I can just remember when the song came out, it was like, when's the album coming out? When's the album coming out? And this came out like March or April. So then fast forward a couple months and I'm seeing Depeche Mode, electronic, and That's Reb, and electronic is opening up for Depeche Mode. And, you know, Neil Tennant and Chris Lowe come out. First time I ever saw them live appearance. It was at Dodger Stadium. And they played a lot of the of electronic of the album that was coming out. And sort of like, great, these songs are great. When are they going to come out? Fast forward another like 8 months, and finally electronic came out. So here's the record here and original CD. Here's my original cassette, which I still have as well. And they finally came out. It was just like, oh my god, finally. It was like, I think this came out in like August. So you almost waited another year for the release from the songs we heard live for the first time. An amazing album. It's like Technique dance version in a way. Idiot Country, great track. Reality, great track. Tighten Up was actually the third single from this album. It was okay. Or the fourth song. It was kind of like on a CD only. And I remember they played this on Tighten Up. They played on K-Rock, and I was like, "Oh, are they promoting this? Is the next single?" Maybe they were just playing it, but I think it was released on like a CD only copy, but not with remixes. Not to the extent of the other three singles from the album. Patience of a Saint also featured Neil Tennant. And you have Getting Away with It, Gangster, like Idiot Country, just an amazing dance music. Soviet was kind of the interlude, and you had Get the Message, which was the second single from the album. And then for me, the two underrated tracks on this album, Try All You Want and Some Distant Memory, awesome. And then you have we Feel Every Beat, you know, so great album. Here's a single for Get the Message. Wish I had the cover. Has the DNA remixes on here. DNA was a electronic dance group at the time. And then you got the extended version of Free Will, which is one of their best, electronic's best B-sides. An amazing track. Yeah, here's the CD single. This version adds the single mix, so you have 5 songs on here. The record give you 4 songs, but thought there was somebody else who did the remix on here that was of note. But yeah, DNA remix, and then I thought somebody did the original remix, the extended version, but again, maybe it's just the guys, because it does sound very much like the regular song. Really cool, clean artwork. I love the electronics design. It's very much like New Order. Very clean. Very clean. Then you have Feel Every Beat, you know, which is the third and final single from the album. You also have the record here, so really nice. They included some cool remixes on here. You got your money's worth when you got the CD on this one. I think it has 7 tracks on here. So you got the single remix, you got the tactile mix, you got the downstairs mix, you got an instrumental, you got the 12-inch remix, you got a DNA remix, and then a really good B-side in Second to None. Man, you used to get your money's worth for $5.99 for these, $4.99, $5.99 for these EPs. Some of the remixes are on here. Of note, Stephen Hogg, like always, you know. Danny Rampling's on here. Pete Lorimer, you know, he mixed NXS. Yeah, I'm not sure who Bob and Jazzy are. Additional drum loops. But yeah, not a bad song. The remix is Downstairs remix, and Lean to the Inside is a really good B-side as well. Which wasn't on. Okay, Lean to the Mix was on the record, but Second to None wasn't on the record version. But both are great B-sides. When you get 2 B-sides, 2 great B-sides, that's why you bought the record and the CD, so you could get extra remixes and a song that you didn't have. that was just more great music. If you love that album, then you tried to get everything they did around the same period because you knew it'd be just as good. And Second to None, Free Will, and Lean to the Inside, great instrumental tracks, and Second to None has a good vocal to it. So then you're like, what are they going to do next, right? Boom. Probably their best. Hard to say this isn't the best thing Electronic put out. An amazing song. Neil Tennant's back with them. This came out in '92, the summer. I remember right before me and my brother and my parents, I was 16 at the time, right before we went to jump on our way to the airport, we were listening to K-Rock. Disappointed came on. I was like, wow, can't wait to get that. And then when I came back, I think like a month or so later, the single came out. Remixes are okay. Has the 808 remix on here, of course, by 808 State, and there's an electronic mix. And then the reason for buying this though is the FBI mix of Gangster. Heater. Great video too. If you guys have seen the video for Disappointed, it's very much like probably was filmed by the same people who was doing Pet Shop Boys videos around the same time. It kind of has the same. I wouldn't say it's obviously a different story and everything, but like DJ Culture probably did the same. Same director. Again, Mike Spike Drake on here as well. Stephen Hogg. Just engineering masters doing this stuff. I mean, you might as well almost put them as part of the group. It just wasn't Bernard Sumner and Johnny Marr, man. Stephen Hogg is amazing mix engineer. Mike Drake too. Mike Spike Drake, just amazing. What a again, just like New Order do in between albums, and they put out a single, you just be like so happy or like waiting, that kind of got you through to the next album. And strangely enough, in 1996, I was on vacation again in Florida, and this came out. I didn't know that this was coming out. As days of pre-internet '96, so I didn't even know this was coming out. I was in the section and looking through at a record store in Florida, and found this. It was like, oh my god, I can't believe another electronic album. Because I almost forgot about it. It'd been 5 years. It's came out in '96. This is really solid. It might be overlooked. There's a few songs on here that go a little bit too ravey, trancey, maybe a little too electronic, and they sound kind of dated. There's a couple on here that I can think of that do that. I want to say Dark Angel and Forbidden City might be two of the ones that just kind of ravey, but there's some good music on here. Second Nature's Out of My League is a really good song on here. A solid album. This is really solid stuff. Maybe just gets frowned upon because it's a little bit too dancey in parts, and it doesn't really have the single that a lot of New Order has, or other albums that they've worked on where it was like, this is a hit. This didn't have that. This didn't really have a hit on it. And then I didn't get any of the singles from that. I was pretty much, by the mid-'90s, I was pretty much done with buying singles of the band, of a lot of bands that I like, because again, like I've said in the past, a lot of time, by the time of the mid-'90s, the people that were remixing them weren't the engineers in the studio. They weren't people involved in the project. They weren't producers on the album. They weren't engineers. They were either DJs or budding electronic artists. And I think for the most part, a lot of them stink. Like I can point to Depeche Mode as a perfect example. I want to say the Kruger and Dorfmeister mix might be okay on the one track. It's no good. The remixes stink. Barrel the Gun, Underworld does a good remix on that one. It's like a slow version. Other than that, the remixes stink. Home, not really much to remix there, but that wasn't very good. Useless, the Kruger and Dorfmeister remix of of Useless was pretty good, but I only liked 2 remixes of all four of the singles. That just goes to show you when I liked every version, every remix of Depeche Mode's 4 singles on Violator. I mean, every version is great. And then fast forward to their last album they did together, which is Raise the Pressure. This one's kind of the most mature. I would say it's kind of like Raise the Pressure without the. This is a little bit more of a rock album with some electronic, beat machines and keyboards and things like that. They really kind of polished what they were trying to do on Raise the Pressure and really kind of nailed it here. Twisted Tenderness, I'm sorry, is the name of the album. They really polished it. I mean, every song is really good. I think the standouts for me are twofold. Late at Night, which they did a single for, and When She's Gone. I really like those 2 tracks, but also Make It Happen, Haze, and Vivid are also really good as well. Prodigal Son's really good. So, really strong album. Again, not a single that really stands out from it to really get it any airplay. Both these albums kind of flew under the radar, and then they released the greatest hits, and then, excuse me, I guess they're not going to really do anything else. I don't know. It's been like 20 years, over 20 years. But yeah, that's my electronic music. Oh, just why I have it here. You should get these. The other 2 and You. So this is since I was on the side project for electronic, I thought I would mention these. This is Selfish, the single, and then the full album. This is Jillian, the keyboard player. Here she is, and then Stephen Morris, her husband, the drummer for New Order. So this is their side project. If you like, this really reminds me of Human League's '95 album. Maybe it's just because it's the green, but they both have like instrumental kind of dance songs that sound familiar in it. This has some good grooves on it. So I mean, they're obviously a good drum machine, good keyboard players. So it makes sense that there's, but they did obviously Tasty Fish, Selfish. Are really good singles. This is the remix here for Selfish here. But really 2 solid singles there, Tasty Fish and Selfish. But I Feel This Love is my favorite on here. And then there's some good instrumentals on here. I think it's Spirit Love and Ninth Configuration. Those are 2 instrumentals. Really kind of good grooves. Of course, still rocking the Peter Seville artwork, famous from New Order. So yeah, so I just wanted to mention those as well, since I had them next to my electronic section. So I'm curious. I guess I only saw them that one time live though. It's funny, like going to a show and only knowing one song that they sing up to that point, and then debuting the whole album. Because I can't remember. I remember liking it, but since I didn't know the songs. In a stadium that size, I don't remember much of that show. I just remember Chris Lowe and Neil Tennant walking out from the back during their couple. They probably did Patience of a Saint and Getting Away with It, and probably walked back off stage. Yeah, so I remember that part, but I don't remember any of the other songs. I just remember remember the feeling like, when's this album gonna come out? I'm looking forward to it, and then it finally came out like a year later. But that's really my only memories of them live. I don't know if they did any shows. Of course, they put out a few videos, but I don't think they really did any touring to support any of the albums or even shows. Kind of more like a studio project, but a really worthwhile studio project that they should get back into. I think that would be a great collaboration again. It's been a while, but Johnny Marr's been doing a lot of good stuff. It'd be cool for him to drag out Johnny Marr's old bones and get them to do a collaboration again. That'd be cool. Be curious to know, like I usually ask, what's your favorite 3 electronic songs? And of the 3 albums, which one's your favorite? Be curious to know. So feel free to comment at the bottom about which your favorite 3 songs. And I'm also curious, one other thing is I'm kind of going through different artists and stuff like that. If there's anybody that you see my videos and there's anybody that you'd like me to do a video on or something like that, I don't mind doing it. I'm probably gonna get to it if it's a older band, especially if it's in the vein of some of these new wave groups and stuff. I'm probably gonna get to it, but maybe it'll encourage me to do a certain one a little bit faster. Maybe I won't plan on doing it, and because you mentioned it, I will. So yeah, I'd be curious to know if anybody's interested in hearing me do one about another artist. So thanks for listening to this episode of Electric Cafe and my video on electronic and my history with them and going over their discography. Thanks a lot. Have a good day.